All right, welcome everyone to the,
Down, we're gonna attack Gary.
Yeah.
Oops, I'm sorry. That's yours.
you guys ready?
Yep.
Okay, welcome to the October 17th Planning Board meeting. Today on the agenda, we are going to start with a sign request for Township 4. And Jed is here he's the owner, co-owner of the store. And we touched base a little bit earlier, and you mentioned that you have an idea to solve this.
Yes, so thank you very much.
You want to come on up and introduce yourself?
Sure. Can I sit
Okay.
down?
Oh, yeah.
Sure, yep,
Hi, I'm Jed Thompson,
welcome.
co-owner, and I want to apologize, first of all, for not having done this correctly the first time around and wasting all of our time right now. So thank you very much for being here, and thank you for letting me do this here. So we have that sign right now, which is 32 inches. And when you come out to do the math, as Kate called earlier, and she was very kind to go through the bylaws and explain them. And Jennifer earlier in the month helped us as well after the building inspector came through. Matt Coleman. Sorry, Matt. Who's very helpful as well. So today, we went through kind of digitally as you went through this. Currently, the sign is larger than 4 square feet and is projecting out of the off the side of the building. However, I looked and I can get the same exact style of sign, which instead of being a 32-inch diameter is a 24-inch diameter, comes to 3.14 square feet, which under 6.8.9A3 would be allowed as long as the 1, 2, 3, 4 are of course followed there. And you all say, yes, you can have that sign,
That's,
obviously.
so you can get it down under.
So we could get the same exact style of sign, but literally 8 inches smaller. And then I'll just take that bigger sign and wait for our second location, which will be at some point. Because that sign is,
That's great.
Nice sign.
it is a nice.
Yeah, thank you, Jed.
Yeah, it is.
So that's something that I could certainly do.
That's a great solution. What, I'll hear, do you guys have any thoughts?
I don't have any.
Perfect, sounds good.
So
Yeah.
I will submit another application
Yes.
with the new dimensions.
Yep.
And then start that process.
We'll just write it up with the new dimensions and we'll just
It's the same application.
do it quickly for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you very much. So I'll get that submitted.
Well, thank you for reflecting on it and coming up. That's a great.
You're welcome. It was a stroke of luck.
Okay,
Just went
good.
onto the website, so
Yeah, good.
appreciate it.
Okay,
Anything else?
that's it.
What is in your store? What is the concept?
So we're in the Old Country
I know
Curtains
where it
location.
is. I was just wondering what you have. What
We
is-
are a full-service independent floral studio.
Oh, neat.
So we do everything, we deliver throughout the county. We do single stem up to big events,
Live.
fresh flowers.
Fresh flowers.
And we're also actually more so a gift shop as well. So if you remember Country Curtains, you will not recognize the space. It was, they closed in 2018 and it was truly a dead space for 4 years. As Sarah Eustace asked us, Nathan and I, to move our store into there. We had it in downtown Pittsfield for 5 years. And
Okay, yeah,
across from Dottie's.
yeah, okay.
Oh, okay.
And so we were looking, our lease came up, we were looking for another space, and she said, you should come down here. And I was like, yes, I should. So it doesn't get quite the same foot traffic as Main
Right.
Street does.
Yeah.
And the corner store, the Red Lion gift shop, which used to be
Yeah.
Pink Kitty,
Right.
is no longer. And so there's a brand new store there as
Oh,
well.
there's a store there, yes.
Yeah, which
Yeah,
is
that's
a
still there.
beautiful gift shop.
Well, we'll have to stop in and see what you got.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
welcome, that's great.
Really neat
Yeah.
stuff in there.
Oh, cool.
thank you.
Yeah, we should get you involved in Laurel Hill.
Yes.
I think you did our Laurel,
Yes, I can see her face.
Hillary.
Hillary, thank you.
Yes.
she asked for that, so,
Good, all right.
right?
Yeah,
to stop in.
thank you so much, Ted, yeah.
Thank you,
You
much
take care.
appreciated.
Good
All
luck.
right.
Yeah, thank you.
Best, yeah.
Okay, so next we're missing 3 members, but we'll talk a little bit about, based on our last discussion, talk about priorities. I do have an update, a couple of updates, I guess. Marie, you had asked about performance securities.
I did. I didn't know if that was something, I just thought maybe that's something we should be.
So what you, I want to make sure that I understood you correctly. So you were thinking about building construction related to,
I was thinking about projects that get started and then don't finish and leave a site a mess or whatever halfway through. And should there be some kind of bond to clean up anything that's sort of left if somebody
Okay.
doesn't finish the project? That was just sort of my thought. Do we
Okay.
have any protection that way?
so I did, I
And I don't
think
even know if it's ours.
I understood it correctly, so that's good. And I did touch base with Donna, and basically, of course, our subdivision bylaw allows for a bond or financial security for roads and utilities. But in terms of private property, if somebody starts construction and they abandon it, it's private property and,
Right, it would,
yeah.
yeah, it would be more like town property, I suppose, or public property in some way, I would guess. I mean, it was simply a thought, should we be thinking in terms of this? Because sometimes you get something started and then it just gets left. And you,
So if it's town property,
I
though,
suppose so. I mean, I don't know. Anything would be. I don't have any specific thing in mind. It was just something that I thought of and thought, wonder if we should look into that. I don't even know if it's our purview as a planning board. I just
I mean, I think if it's,
throw it out as long as we're discussing things to discuss.
yeah, it sounds to me like if it's private property, yeah.
Probably not private property. I would guess we wouldn't have jurisdiction.
Well, I mean, like if there
over
was a subdivision, we usually do a bond. We did for the,
Area, yeah.
over on the Dugway.
that. Yeah.
Matter of fact, that's what
So
that
we
whole
have a
thing was about,
bond.
releasing, remember that?
Yeah,
Yes.
when they were done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we had to release the covenant.
Okay. So we do have something in
Yeah.
terms.
So did we do, at that time, did we do a site visit to sort of check the work, or was it sort of pro form? I don't
I think
remember.
what we did is I can't really remember whether we went there or not, but I know that we went on the basis of the fact that the town highway department, police and fire said that it was fine.
Okay, yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, if it's
And
town.
again, I think that covenant, I'm not even sure if it was money-based. It's just that it was a legal thing, wasn't it, John? Do you remember? Did we have to release money?
I think we did.
Maybe in that one we did, yeah. But I think we've had them where it's a covenant that just means it doesn't allow them to really own it or be able to do anything to it, as long as there's a lien on it.
Yeah,
Which is basically what that is, it's a lien, so.
yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah,
But the
I don't-
building inspector has can do some things, right? I mean, in terms of obviously if it's not built right and stuff, I mean, there's,
Yeah,
cease and desists and things like that, so.
yeah, like stuff.
Okay. All
But
right,
yeah, for big projects, we can definitely do something like that.
subdivision, yep, okay. All right, so, all right, so that sort of takes care of that. And then I also looked into, well, that's skipping ahead a little bit. All right, so next I had on the list accessory dwelling units. Did we want to talk about that?
If-
They
Is that
just
going to
had
be
a-
at the
Wait for the
special town
select-
meeting or no? I didn't think so.
Yeah, do we want to wait for the select board to come up with something? That's kind of what we that's where we stopped. And I don't know if, I mean, we certainly want to take it up at some point, but I don't know if we're jumping the gun now.
Maybe a little, there's they just had a housing trust meeting, so.
Yeah, maybe we need to wait
That's what we
until
were
there's
waiting for.
something
Yeah,
to
housing
really see if we like or we don't like.
Yes.
Rather than try to set our own something or other. But that certainly is something I think we
Should address.
involved in it.
Yes.
All right. So, and then the LPOD, in terms of that, I did a little bit of, I talked to Donna a little bit, and I think there's a little bit more work that needs to be done on that one. One thing that we talked about was, I think I'm going to need to try and get on the agenda for the Conservation Commission meeting, because, this is, one comment she had was that she doesn't like bylaws where there's overlapping jurisdiction. So that's one thing that we can look at, and she would, she feels that it would be good to certainly not increase the overlapping jurisdiction, but we could, work on decreasing that. And I think that, I think that makes sense in terms of, I think that's sort of a good place to start. So what I thought I could do is, get on an agenda for a Concom meeting and talk to them.
I think the evening that David came here.
Yeah.
He also was of that impression. You don't like the overlapping stuff. It's either theirs or ours. It shouldn't be unless it's an oversight thing. I mean, I sort of got the impression that was his thought.
What his point was that, we had been talking, I know I had been thinking this way. So sort of the idea of more collaboration.
Right.
But he was like, no, they're really two separate. You
Yeah.
want to they do what they do, you do what you do. And, that wasn't necessarily intuitive for me because I sort of like the idea of, those two boards having, but I accept his input for sure. And by the way, he will be at the next meeting for the special permits, so he'll be here for those.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so I think there's a little bit more work to do on that one. And I also think there's a little, same with it as with the ADUs, a little bit more work to do with that one. I've been thinking about that. And I think that, before it comes to the planning board, it's possible that some work should be done on that by, potentially a collaboration with someone from Housing Trust Committee or, Select Board, like you mentioned, Marie. So, so that's kind of my thinking on that. And again, interested to hear what you guys think.
Well, I think on the LPOD, I mean, I think we need to tighten it down a little bit so that we have a little more control over.
I think there's several things.
Yeah,
There's like footprints.
but I mean, just the
No.
things that have bothered us in the
Exactly.
past,
I
which
mean,
is,
some of it is gonna be-
coverage,
Yeah,
Percentage.
yeah.
percentage.
What we're going to
things
need
like
to do is figure out exactly, what it is. Is it height in relation to the topography? If you look at that, like, I don't want to name properties, but one recent one, it's, some of them, the height just stands out like a sore thumb.
Especially if there's people behind you that aren't, I mean, I don't know if we need to do something about,
Well, there's a view, there's the
You've
problem with the
got-
view
yeah.
view shed.
you've got the people on the front that own waterfront property, and then you got the next little row of people that all of a sudden this huge house comes up. and
Right.
it's-
Scale.
I mean, should we regulate that or not? I mean,
Association would regulate that?
what's that?
The Bow Association?
No,
No,
no, I don't think so.
Zoning.
I think
yeah.
it's gotta be a zoning thing,
I
yeah.
mean, it's a balancing act. So,
Yeah, I mean,
but I agree, I think it just, the question of scale is what we're going to want to be thinking about, arriving at something that is, provides balance without going
yeah,
too
the
far.
first row of houses
Yeah,
might have different regulations than the second row.
Yeah, that-
I mean, it's,
that might make me a little uneasy, but, we can
Yeah.
talk about it all.
yeah, I mean, I don't
yeah,
know if,
Yeah, so,
I don't know. But I think there's several issues in terms of LPOD stuff and the climate change business that's
I agree.
is talking about water groundwater
Well-
and that, whatever that, but I think there's 2 or 3 different issues. Some that sort of overlap with the Concom and some that are probably just ours.
Yeah.
Well, like high water mark, I mean, has that changed? I don't know. Do we need to do,
And the lake, because they regulate, but here's, where shoreline stuff, I think, is even more so than the lake, is the Housatonic River.
And the river as well.
As Sally.
yeah, we tend to
I
think of the
should
lake,
forward
but
around that email that Sally sent to, you were on the site visit recently for Church Street, right?
I didn't go on the site visit, no.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to, and I missed it.
Okay.
I did
So
too.
Sally sent an email to Marie and me, and I'm going to forward it to the board because,
I think I saw it
Did you?
someplace. Well,
Okay.
because,
Maybe a neighbor,
well,
as a neighbor.
well, yeah, no, it was just, but I know they went to 21 Church Street, I think, right, for their site visit? What are we,
I
what
thought
are
it
we
was
having for?
25, 25.
Oh, 25. That's
Yeah.
who we're going to go to
Yeah.
too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is that for an addition?
it's a tear down in addition.
It's a garage.
Garage.
It's
Oh,
a
yeah.
garage
And.
and
addition to
a
the
tear down of a ship.
Yeah.
Did we get a date for that?
And in addition to what?
No, because.
I'll, Nancy,
Pardon, I'm sorry.
I'm going
what?
to put those on the,
No, I was telling Nancy that she and Liz were the only ones that said they wanted to go
Oh.
To what?
yeah.
to the site visit.
oh, but no, we'll schedule site visits so that people who
Yeah.
want, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so, oh, I know, but before I forget, LPOD, we had gotten onto the topic of septic. And someone asked me to look into, ask my coworker about septic and how that, plays out. So I did, and it was pretty interesting, actually. So what he told me was that the septics are really, the state-of-the-art filters out nitrogen and phosphorus. And at least they should. And he said that, I guess they're called alternative innovative technology systems. He calls them AI. And it's a jetback system. And as an example, like 36 Lake Drive just put in a jetback system. And his comment was the effluent is quite clean. What comes out is quite clean. They're on contract, and that's the way it's set up. They're checked every 6 months.
Ah, good.
Yeah,
That's like the one, remember, they stuck it in the middle of the driveway?
Yes. What was that? Yes.
I think
do
it was Lake
Birchwood?
Drive, maybe.
yeah.
I think it was Lake Drive, the
So-
end of the lower,
Maybe this was,
but I
36.
remember the jetpack.
Yeah, so 36 Lake Drive was the example he gave. Now, he said that they are more expensive, but they tend to do better in terms of, That said, he said they can fail if they're overloaded. And we had an exception where one failed on Hawthorne Road. It was the short-term rental property, and it was overloaded, so it failed. I actually drove by when it was failing. It was like, oh my God. So the best system, if it's abused, it can fail. Okay?
Well, it's either underbuilt or overused.
Yeah. So that's the information I
Because they
have
build them
there.
based on I would imagine bathrooms, right?
The number of, yeah.
Is
Occupants,
this what
occupants.
you're wanting to do at 25 Church?
I don't know. I haven't looked at it yet.
Oh,
Yeah, so I don't know.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
didn't see that. But that's a possibility.
All right.
No, they're on sewer.
There's sewer, yeah.
There's sewer,
I think
so that's
25
not-
Church Street is,
It's the Housatonic River.
it's the LPOD.
Right,
It's
right,
going to
right.
be
It's,
a setback probably thing, right?
And in the floodplain.
Yeah.
And LPOD.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we wouldn't.
Okay, right. So they don't have to worry about that
No.
because they're on sewer. Okay. Yep, you're right.
All right, so, okay to move on, everyone? Yep. Okay. Cell phone boosters, I talked to Mike about this. This one is important. And, they all are, of course, but this one was totally, it was not on my radar screen at all. And apparently they're these, I've seen what they look like, and they are large, about the size of that podium there, maybe even a little larger, and they're not attractive. So Lennox, as you probably all saw, Lennox has worked on a bylaw for this. What Mike told me was that he felt that it was important to address this. There's a set of considerations. The Federal Trade Commission, they can always overrule, if they need to do what they feel they need to do, they can overrule, but Michael felt that it was important for us to do
What's
this.
those in? Who's in charge of those?
The utilities, I think, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah,
Is
utilities.
it for private properties, you mean?
No,
Like
it's
like
like
a lot of times
for,
they'll hide them like in a church belfry or, things like that.
yeah,
They try to
yeah.
Cell phone
incorporate them
company
into
puts them in.
something that's already
Can't
there.
buy
I assume it's a Verizon or Spectrum, I don't know, actually. This is all,
Instead of a cell tower, they have these
Well, it's
This is,
boosters for the
it's
cell
different. It's
towers.
like,
for the cell.
they're on they're boosters, and they're on like the one I've seen is on one of the telephone poles.
Oh.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. And, I thought because those black things that are on the wires, it's quite a bit more of an impact than those black packs. Yeah, quite a bit more. So.
Never heard of those.
So, but, the good thing about that is that, this, other people have done the bylaw. We can look at what's already been done, and use that as a starting place.
Do they
Okay?
have to get permits from us to do this? Is that, no, only if we have a bylaw for it? Is that, or what?
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I'll
like
need
if
to look-
it's
yeah.
Spectrum or something like that, do they have
Yeah.
to?
Well, if we have a
I guess
bylaw that
it's select board.
provides, my guess is that it provides parameters, because if
Okay.
you looked at the write-up on the Lennox bylaw, it, referenced some parameters that, protect
Okay,
residents.
so you can make them do it a certain way. You probably can't.
You can, but it sounds like there are limits to what,
What
how
you
much,
can-
yeah.
Yeah, they can't go crazy.
Kind of happy.
They own the cell tower, so can they just put them on by right?
These are boosters that are, they're intended, like in my area, we never have cell phone coverage at home. So this is intended to close that gap. I mean, they focused initially on the eastern side of the state because of the lower population out here. Not so much, but now they're starting to, address these rural
So
areas.
this is different than satellite dishes. This is
Yeah, this
something
is not-
different. This is totally like on the poles or the wires or something.
This is on those wooden.
Somewhere.
Yeah, on the wooden poles.
Okay.
And I think that'd probably come before the select board, not us. I don't know.
Oh, probably, yeah.
It would be a zoning thing, so I'm not
If it was a
really,
bylaw.
Well,
Zoning
who
bylaw.
okays the cell towers? The
those,
select board.
yeah, that's in the
So
general
I'm
bylaw.
guessing that it follows that anything that has to do with those.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'll check.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
we'll check.
think it's
Yeah.
I think it'll be the select board.
Not open that can of worms.
Cell packs, cell boosters. Okay, jurisdiction. Question mark. Okay, so that's that.
But I think in the near future, I mean, everything becomes obsolete at some point. I think we're going to be getting our things from, the satellites and stuff. I don't know.
It would be nice to get rid of those packs, boy, they're
I'm
big.
not even sure if you'll have cell towers.
And the cell towers too, yeah.
Look like trees.
Yeah, the worst one
Sort
is
of.
when you go like to Charlemagne, the one that looks like an advertisement for a fuller brush. Or it looks like one of the very first artificial Christmas trees you ever
Yes,
saw.
oh,
I
yeah.
know. Oh, where, is that one still stand over in the Bland?
I haven't been over that way, but I know it was always the one that you saw and you go, wow, yeah,
Right.
you got me fooled.
Right, okay. All right, so I guess, some work to do, and how do you want me to handle the cell phone boosters? Touch base with Mike and Donna and see,
Yes, yeah, that's really.
see if we can get something going quickly on that.
To know what's happening, yeah.
Okay, all right, so Nancy, did you want to do your BRPC? I mean, have the boosters been talked about at BRPC?
Not the ones that I've attended, no.
Okay.
So we don't do the review of the minutes because there's not enough of us?
No, we will. I just forgot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You want to do that before your update?
No, that's okay. It's a real short. I didn't report on everything that was spoken about. Mainly it was, well, I'll start. I attended the annual meeting of the Berkshire Regional Planning Commission on October 5 at Berkshire Hills Country Club in Pittsfield, and I wanted to share a little of what I heard. The guest speaker was Annie Kobe. I don't know if I pronounced it correctly, Director of Rural Affairs in the Office of Massachusetts and Economic Development. She spent 14 years in the House and 7 years in the Senate, so she's very experienced in. Yeah. She stated that only 17% of the land in the Berkshires is populated, which I found interesting. And she shared many of her concerns, and these aren't all of them, but because she's a bullet pointer, speaks quickly. She feels that rural voices must not be inflexible to change, and mentions that she will be working with each community regarding the declining schools and regionalization of schools. Elderly housing is very important to her, and good roads and bridges, particularly school bus roads. She touched on shared services, but towns are getting a lot of pushback due to personalities within the towns. This is one thing that the state needs to help with. Elderly housing is important to current infrastructure. Many buildings are very underutilized. I was thinking more of like Great Barrington or Pittsfield rather than Stockbridge or Sheffield. There's an urgent need for housing and services for the elderly. And one thing that interested me is when she asked if anyone had any concerns, and a select person who was sitting next to me at my table from Lee asked about the Lee access road to Benedict Pond, and he stated the town has requested for many years to have it repaired, and it is still in poor condition. And her reply was, there's a new sheriff in town. Meaning her. She's going to look into all this.
Oh,
She's going to take care of things.
So is that the access road used for the PCB, the whole PCB dump thing?
No,
Benedict
to
Pond.
get
This
to
is
Benedict Pond.
October Mountain.
October Mountain.
Or Beartown, whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because if you come in from Great
That's
Barrington, the
terrible.
road is beautiful.
Yeah.
But if you come from the other way, you take your life.
It's
in your
almost
hands.
impassable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Almost
Yeah.
impassable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The potholes
And
are-
Peter told me that it was repaired not that many years ago, but I don't remember it being, maybe they fixed potholes, but I don't remember it being
It's a great place to ski.
At least 10 or more, I think.
beautiful up there.
It was a long
Fish,
time
too.
ago. It seems like it was a long time ago. I mean, 10
Yeah.
or more or so.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
not 50, but
Yeah.
it's in
Yeah.
bad shape.
So there were a lot of people at the meeting, and I was surprised that it was also supposed to be a selectmen's association meeting, and there were no selectmen there except for the woman who represented the selectmen. So, but I was surprised that there weren't more select people there. But when I went last year to the annual meeting, there weren't any select people, board members there either. So maybe they must have their own annual meeting that they go to rather than combining it with planning. But she thinks that planning and select boards need to work more closely with each other than they historically have not. We do pretty good here.
We do, yeah, I think we do. So has been nothing about the cell boosters, because it used to be that they would sort of talk about emerging issues that would impact planning, like, marijuana. There's been no discussion of
I
that?
haven't seen anything about it.
Wow.
No.
Okay.
Maybe the next one, no. They'll say something, because they each member, when I go to their regular meetings, it's just an annual wind-up meeting. Sometimes they speak about things like that, or like about the railroad, going east-west railroad, which I find really interesting, but I wish they were working on that.
All right. Okay, thank you, Nancy.
Sure.
Yep. Okay, so for the next agenda, we're going to have 2 special permits. And one thing I was thinking about is how you guys feel about the week of Thanksgiving. Any interest in building up the agenda for the next meeting and then taking off the week of Thanksgiving? Any interest in that?
What date's the next one? November?
Oh, wait a minute. Wrong month. So Thanksgiving is the 23rd of November. The next meeting is the 7th, and then the second meeting in November would be the 21st. So I was thinking we could do the 2 special permits. We have a sketch plan review coming up, so we could do that. and a sign permit.
This one,
No, a different
a
one.
different sign.
Yeah, but it's possible Jed might, it won't take him long. He
Yeah,
might, but
no,
it's,
yeah.
it's not going to take any time. So I wanted to put that out there as a possibility. How do you guys feel about that? Would you like to have the week of Thanksgiving off?
Sure, I don't have any,
I mean, it doesn't make any
Particular.
difference to me.
No, I'm not going anywhere.
it doesn't make any difference. So,
I guess we don't care.
Are you guys dying to meet?
you know, maybe if there's no permitting
Sign.
people, you
Yeah.
know, that kind of business, maybe we don't have to meet just to, you know what I mean? If there's nobody with a special permit.
Well, so what we could,
Horizon.
what we could do is, I mean, the options are, we could do, we're doing the 2 special permits at the
Yeah.
next meeting. So we could
Let's do all of that.
do everything and
And if
then,
there's nothing else that comes up.
okay.
Not have.
Yeah, so we'll have a
right.
we'll have a.
So it's going to be a long meeting, but that's okay.
Okay.
We'll do 2 special permits, a sketch plan review, and the sign.
Yeah,
Okay.
if somebody comes in for it, I suppose it makes sense that we really do have a meeting. But if nobody does, let's just not do a meeting.
Okay, so,
I did give a sign permit application to someone that just moved into town.
okay,
He hasn't gotten it back to me,
Okay.
so.
okay, right. I mean, I think, you know. So Jennifer will be in touch about setting up site visits for anyone interested for the 2 specials and the sketch plan. Do you want to let Mr. Mickle, is that his name, know that he's down for the 7th? Okay, great, thank you. And I think that's all we have. Okay?
And the minutes
Oh, the
from,
minutes, yeah. Has everyone had a chance to check them out? Motion to accept?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good. Thank you.
oh, thank you, Kate.
All right.